For some of us, treats for our dogs are an afterthought. For others of us, we put as much thought and care into the treats we pick for our dogs as we do the foods we feed. Wherever you fall on the spectrum of treat purchasers, Sam from Bears Bites has some helpful tips for you. Sam founded Bears Bites when she struggled to find healthy treats for her dogs with food allergies. You may be in that same boat. All of our dogs deserve the best treats, but for those of us dealing with sensitivities and allergies, it's top of mind. Join us as we discuss why it's so important to source high-quality treats for your pets and to find out what Sam's favorite human treat is. Have you tried training methods that just didn't work? Do you feel that your pet is not getting his or her nutritional needs met? Are illnesses and bad behavior your daily norm? You're going to want to join me on the Pet Parenting Reset, where you'll hear interesting and informative interviews and get solutions to all your pet problems. I'm your host, Jessica L. Fisher. Sam, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I so appreciate you and for being you, of course, but it's so important for us, not just as small business owners, but as women small business owners, that we really, have each other's backs and promote the crap out of each other. Because who else is going to do it, right? If we don't. So it's an important thing to me, and I'm finding I by no means have a huge voice, but the bigger my voice does get, this is something that I want to do more and more of, because it's just really a passion for me to be able to introduce people like you to the world, to more and more people. Because it is, when you have a passion project, which I know you're getting ready to tell me about, it's about the love that goes into the product that you are not going to find when you just buy whatever at a big box store, And it makes such a big difference, whether you believe in woo-woo or you don't believe in woo-woo. The energy that goes into making something can have a huge impact on us and our animals. And so tell me a little bit about Bears Bites, what it is you do, and how you got started.
So I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. So the reason I started making dog treats was my boys about 15 years ago had food allergies. So we had Sarge, and Sarge started itching and digging and ear infections. And I took him to the vet, and it wasn't real known back then with the food allergies like it is now. And he's like, I want to put him on this special diet. And it was, of course, science diet. I think it was ZD, hydrolyzed chicken. We thought he was allergic to chicken. And I'm like, are you sure? Oh, it's made different. And I'm like, okay, well, he was allergic to the chicken. So It didn't matter how it was made. He was allergic to chicken. So I took about 6 months, and I started researching, reading books, talking to veterinarians, and found out chicken was the number one food allergy. So I got him on a food, and there was 5 on the market at the time. There's still the same 5 on the market that don't have chicken in them. No chicken fat, no chicken cartilage, nothing like that. And then we adopted Tank, and Tank had these same food allergies, but his were worse. His hair would fall out. He had sores on him, he had horrible ear infections. So we got him on, and we had both of them tested for allergies. Sarge, he had the skin test, and out of 30 things, he was allergic to 28. And Tank was allergic to nothing. So we found out it was chicken by doing the elimination diet. Mm-hmm. And got him on the food. They were doing great. And I went to find treats, and all the treats had chicken and things that I can't pronounce. So I was like, that's a hard no. So I had one of those cute little white dehydrators, and I was like, all right, I'll do organic banana and sweet potato. And the boys loved it. So when we adopted Bear, I was so excited because I'm like, oh, he's a rescue dog. He's going to love these treats, would not even eat them. would not put sweet potato or banana in his mouth. So I found a farm locally that did hormone-free, steroid-free, organic meats, and we started making beef liver. And I told my husband we adopted Bear in March of 2017. So November 2017, I told my husband that I was going to start a dog treat company. And he looked at me like I was crazy, and I get that look often. And he said, "What, do you know anything about starting a business?" And I'm like, "No." And I'd actually gone to school for business management and still knew nothing about starting a business, by the way. And so he's like, "When are you going to do this?" I said, "We're going to launch January 1st. And I got the, oh, Jesus look. And we launched February 8th of 2018. And by June of 2018, it was supporting itself. So that is, I knew if I was having the problem finding good treats, so was everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So it was time to launch, and we have just grown tremendously.
Yeah, it is difficult. It's getting less and less difficult. I mean, as you know, because you're in the space, so you're seeing the growth in the treat space. But to me, I always recommend single ingredient treats. Like that is just my go-to. I just don't want to buy anything else. And I don't want my clients to buy anything else. But one thing that I am realizing is that I feel like we have been so conditioned to not ask about where things come from that I am having to constantly remind myself when I see something new and shiny and I'm like, oh, yay, look, it's a single ingredient treat. Mm-hmm. I have to remind myself to take a step back and say, Jessica, check the sourcing. Mm-hmm. And that is so important. And I know this has been part of your journey too. Can you tell me a little bit about why this is so important?
That way you know. So the farmer I started with, I did not go visit his farm at first. And he lied horribly. He didn't even grow half the meat.
Oh my goodness.
When I started, I'm like, hey, I need to come visit the farm. He kept, no. Because I visit the farms that I work with because of this situation, because you can't just leave people anymore, and it's really sad. But mm-hmm. He never would let me visit the farm, and then I found out he didn't grow any of his pork. He buy his beef at market. He did nothing. So when you have somebody that's saying this is how it actually is grown, and then they don't grow any of it, that's a serious problem for me. So now I visit all of my farms that we work with. That way we know, because if they're lying to you, you don't know what it is. You don't know what they fed it, how it's raised, if it's raised humanely, nothing. So that to me is very important because I want to know what I'm putting in my body. I sure want to know what goes in Bear's. I think Bear eats better than we do. So because I'm more strict about what goes in Bear's body. Mm-hmm. So it's so serious to me because so many chemicals, like cancer is huge in pets because of all the crap that's put into foods and everything, and they are horrible at sourcing anything. I have asked big companies, where do you get your meat? And they refuse to tell me.
Yeah, that's a big red flag.
Mm-hmm. Like, no thanks.
And the reality, at least for us in America, is that most, I would say, of our animals are raised on foods that are not ideal, that are not species appropriate. Even animals that graze, we want to be aware that, hopefully they're not grazing in pasture that is being sprayed with, glyphosate or, yes. And to your point about chicken, our chickens that are raised in the U.S., for the most part, are fed such horrible diets with corn, which is like the number one. I know on one of my other podcasts, I think it was a solo podcast, if I could pick one, if I only could, there was one ingredient that I could say, stop, everyone in the world, just stop eating it, it would be corn. Like, it doesn't, it's something that I don't think we should be eating. Our animals definitely shouldn't be eating. The animals we eat definitely should not be eating.
Right.
Between, GMO, I want to say it's like over 90% of corn in the US is GMO crop. And, the glyphosate and the aflatoxin, and that, like, we just don't want this. And that is one of the reasons why chicken is such a trigger for so many of our animals, is just because of the poor quality. And I really, really appreciate that you want these animals raised humanely as well. I don't know if you know this, my husband owns a food business. We have canned meats, and they are for long-term food storage. So the way we do it is we actually hand cut all of the meats, hand pack them in special containers. My fever brain. special jars that the Ball Company makes for us, and they are canned like you would can at home. So they're, a low heat cooking, and then so they're sealed and then cooked, and so there's no living organism in the meat. But we're very, very aware of where our meats come from, and we only, we can only participate in like what they're eating so much because they're such big farms. But we are very aware of they have to be slaughtered humanely, and so there's a lot to me in that. Like, I don't want to participate in a company that just doesn't care about
right.
How the animals are treated, because it matters so much. But yeah, so the treats, you have a line of, as you said, bananas, sweet potatoes. I know you do beef liver. Do you do any others right now?
We do banana, sweet potato, pumpkin, beef liver, pork loin, and chicken. And we have dehydrated and freeze dried.
Wow. Yeah. So I know we were talking earlier, the freeze drying is such an expensive process to do.
Yeah.
So I very much appreciate, as a small business, that you're able to do that. I don't, I like both. I like freeze dried. I like dehydrated. My dog does too. And it's funny that you said that, one of your dogs just would not touch the fruits and vegetables, because that's exactly how my dog is. If it's not meat, she doesn't want it.
Yeah. And that's how Bear is too. I'm like, oh, he's a rescue. Well, he really isn't. He was bought by a breeder, or from a breeder, and then turned over to the Dog de Bordeaux Rescue. And he lived in a foster home. And then he came to us. So he never really was like, had to starve or anything like that, So he came right to me, pretty much being a little bougie. So I'm okay with that. I just made it worse.
It's funny how our animals turn out. Kim, our dog Kim, we found out after we adopted her, the rescue had her in a foster home, and there were quite a few animals, other dogs in the foster home. We got videos of her and stuff, and I want to say there were like 10 or 12 other foster dogs in this small home in Mexico. And we found out later that the foster was getting the food and only keeping like just enough to feed all the animals, and then selling the rest to, people in Mexico, because they have a hard time finding pet food down there. And so we were just shocked that she didn't have any food aggression. She doesn't have any food aggression. We were just like, oh my goodness. But knowing little things like that about where your animal comes from can really make a big difference in how we treat them, how we handle them. Because now, especially my husband, he is constantly just like, well, she was treated so poorly in the foster home. So he's like, oh, it's always an excuse to like give her more and more.
Yeah. My husband's become quite a big softie over the years. And when we first got Bear really didn't like him much. So now Bear can do no wrong in Daddy's eyes.
Yeah.
So he gets away with pretty much everything. So
yeah.
I understand.
I love that though, because my husband was similar when I met him. He was like, I mean, they're just like, he liked dogs and he had a dog, but it was like, they have their space, I have my space. Like, he didn't want the dog in the bed or, anything. And today it's like Kim is in our bed all the time. And
like we put in a pool for Bear, a 15 by 30 above ground pool for Bear. And my husband's wanted one for years. And Bear has bad hips. So like Bear was with us a couple of months and I came home and I'm like, babe, we're putting in a pool. And he's like, are you for real? Yeah, I just bought it. Like, let's do this.
I bought it. Oh my goodness.
We swim all the time. And then we go on vacation for Bear to swim.
Oh my goodness. That's what the lake is for?
Yeah. Like, we really wouldn't go to this place if it wasn't for Bear. It's a great little place, but neither one of us swim in lakes. So, I mean, we wouldn't go there if it wasn't for Bear. I mean, it's a perfect little place, but I don't go into dirty water. I have a pool.
Well, I love that you do so much for your animals, and obviously this is why you started Bears Bites, and we're all so thankful that you did, because like I was saying, it can be difficult to source treats, just like you said. There are so many, even going in. So I never, ever, like, I don't walk down the aisles, the pet food aisles at the grocery store. I never walk into a Petco or a PetSmart anymore. And when I do, for like filming content or whatever, I'm just like, what is this? You walk in and it's like, I would not buy any of this. And I don't say that to make people that do feel bad, but when you know better, you do better.
Right.
And when you know better and you walk in and you start turning those packages over and you read the labels, you're like, why? Like, why would I feed this to my animal? And even, there are treats that have no meat in them, and that's okay. Some like you have the banana and the pumpkin, and those are great treats. Fruits and vegetables can be really wonderful for our dogs. I think it's concerning that they're really starting to push plant-based foods and treats.
Yeah, that's, I have the pumpkin and the sweet potato and the banana for people who need like a lower carb or, something like that. And pumpkin's great for the dogs anyway. So those are not my main source of treats. And I would never tell somebody this, don't give them meat. Like meat, you need so much from the meats, I'm pretty shocked at the vegan diets for the dogs.
Yeah, they're really irking me. I guess I should say it's bothering me quite a bit, because I just our dogs are carnivores, right? And fruits and vegetables are such a small part, and they can be very beneficial, of course, when we're talking about plants as medicine, especially.
Right.
But I just really I love what you're doing. Where can people find Bears Bites? How can we, or even before you tell me where people can find them, because I know everybody wants to know by now, when somebody is looking at a package of treats, can you kind of give me like a rundown of what it is you look for when you're looking at treats?
When I'm looking at treats, first thing I go to is the ingredients.
Yeah.
And ours actually is right on the front of the bag. I don't even have any to show you. But it's right single ingredient is right on the front of the bag, and then whatever is in it. And I have people flip the bag over all the time and they're reading, and I'm like, oh, so what are you looking for? Well, the ingredients right there on the front. Oh, that's it? It's single ingredient. There's nothing else in it. So first thing I look for is the ingredients. So, because if I can't pronounce it, I'm not eating it. So.
Right. Yeah. And then, certainly We never want to see dyes.
No.
I obviously I'm never going to say this enough. I never want to see corn.
Yeah.
I don't even like seeing peanut butter because I want to know what's in the peanut butter. Peanuts are a huge source of aflatoxin as well.
Yeah.
And then what is in, like, how is that? Is that peanut butter sweetened? How is it sweetened? There's so many things I don't want to see on a label, on a treat label for sure.
Oh, my favorite one is natural. What is it? Natural flavoring. I asked a company that was at Super Zoo. I said, "What's in that?" And he's like, "Well, we've worked with doctors. No. What's in that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's more in there than just natural flavoring." And he couldn't answer it. Well, they don't make you put those ingredients in there.
Yeah, I actually asked a lot of people that same question at Super Zoo this year. I did have one company that I was relatively happy with the answer. And then I did notice there are some companies that are starting to say what the natural flavoring is. And I think that's one of the good things that we can start seeing. I think I want to say it was maybe a tiki cat or something. It said natural tuna flavor. So kind of going back to your point about sensitivities and allergies, if we don't know what that natural flavoring is, that could be a contributing factor because we don't know what it's a natural flavoring of.
Right.
So if it is a natural flavoring of any sort of poultry and your animal has an allergy or a sensitivity to chicken, which is the most common, then that can be causing a huge problem in our animals. So definitely looking out for natural flavoring. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. And so I have a lot of customers that ask me about allergies, since that's mainly why we started our business, was because my boys had allergies. And I always tell them, if it says cartilage, if it says, what is the other one that they stick in their fat, animal fat, there's a good chance that's chicken. And, everybody said, well, it doesn't say that. I'm like, yeah, doesn't have to. Like, call the company and ask them.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is such a big deal for our dogs that, if chicken is an allergy or a sensitivity for them, we really need to avoid it across the board. So even if it is in, like you were saying, the animal fat or, which is in almost every bag of kibble, because they're trying to entice your pet to eat something that's biologically inappropriate for them to eat. Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want, and of course it could be restaurant grease too, which really, who knows what that is. But yeah.
There's so many gross things that go into the food.
I know, right? But that's, again, why I appreciate single ingredient treats so much. It's pretty much the only thing I ever buy. If I buy a treat that has more than one ingredient, it's because it's like a green lip mussel and green tripe or something like that.
Right.
But I'm not buying like the majority of treats on the market. I thought it was really interesting. I did a TikTok a couple of months ago, and I went through Target, and I was just like, nope. Like, why I'm not buying any of this. I was actually shocked. I hadn't been down the pet aisles in Target in years, and I felt so gross being in those aisles. But somebody actually commented and was like, you literally just said not to buy everything that's available to us. And I'm like, I am so sorry that you feel that way. This is absolutely not everything that is available to you. Like, we need to expand what we know about pet food and pet supplies. And it just made me so sad. I was like, it kind of brought me back down to people don't know.
No.
You know what I mean? People just don't know that they literally buy 100% of their food, their pet's food, their household items from a big box store like a Walmart or a Target, and they don't know that things exist outside of it. And so when there are products like yours out there, it's like, please, let's get this in front of people, because if we can, whether somebody is starting with treats or they start with food and then find better treats, whichever way it is, like, let's get it in front of people.
Yeah. And I do find here locally that we start with the treats, and then the pet parents get to know me and they have questions, or somebody told them to come ask me. And I'm getting a lot of people not switching to raw, but putting more whole foods into their dog food. I'm like, look, just throw some stuff in there. Like, you don't eat processed food all the time. Your dog shouldn't either. And I'm really getting locally here. I'm really getting people to start at least adding to it. So
that's awesome.
Makes me feel better.
Well, yeah, because, I don't know about you, but literally every time I just give somebody a piece of information, and at some point, whether they come back to me or I just happen to see a status update on social media or whatever it is, and it's like their pet is doing better, it just makes me so happy.
Yes, you and me both, because it's like, I hear a lot, my dog's itching and the vets put him on Apoquil, but they're still itching. What do I do? What are you feeding them? That's always my first question. What are you feeding them? Well, they said it's seasonal allergies. What are you feeding them? Because I can tell you here now with Sarge, he had seasonal allergies too until we got the food under control. Then he no longer had seasonal allergies. And I am also a prime example of that, because 2 years ago, I found out I have a food sensitivity to dairy and gluten. And when I eat either one of those things, my allergies just flare up something horrible. When I don't, I have no seasonal allergies.
It is pretty crazy. And I have issues with dairy too. I'm actually looking at, if I do dairy, it has to be raw dairy. And that makes such a big difference. It's not easy to come by, though.
Right. I've never tried that. I just cut it out.
Yeah, because they take out all the good stuff when they pasteurize it.
Yeah.
Just like with everything, they want to keep us sick.
I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Very much.
As I'm sick right now. But yeah, no, they want to keep us sick. And they want to keep our pets sick. And I think it's so sad. So I am so thankful for you, for just taking a stand and saying no and putting a good product on the market. So now that I've said that, where can people find Bears Bites?
So you can buy them directly from us at bearsbites.net. I am updating the list right now, so it's not on our website, but I'm updating the list of where you can find us in stores. We are on places like Walmart.com, which we do actually sell a lot on Walmart.com. And so that's a good thing. It is, I'm out there a little bit. Yeah. And then we're working with another big company to put them online. I can't say that company yet, but I did meet him at Super Zoo. But it starts with a C. But it'll be on there. So I'm getting out there. We're in about over 150 stores nationwide, a lot of smaller boutiques, grooming. We really haven't looked at doing big chain stores, because I find in the smaller boutiques and the grooming places that the owners care, and they want to direct them more towards good things that they carry. So I like dealing with small businesses too. So
yeah, well, I mean, when a big business, a big box store carries a product, they usually just throw it on the shelf. You know what I mean? And we're in a season, I think, where re-education is very important.
Yes.
So I also think that's why, the smaller boutiques stores are a great place for products like yours, because people just need the education right now.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable, I think.
Yeah. No, I love that people are learning more.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled that you decided to join me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
The wonderful products that you are putting out. I will absolutely be recommending your products to everyone I can. And, I just appreciate that you care enough to care about the sourcing and understand why that is so very important for our animals. So thank you again. Is there any, I do have one more question for you, actually. And I almost forgot because, again, my favorite brain. But since we're talking about snacks for our dogs, what is your favorite snack?
Out of my treats or just in general?
For you to eat.
I actually like freeze-dried apples. So
awesome.
Freeze-dried apples and freeze-dried strawberries. That's why they're not on the list for the dog treats, because they never make it. I have tried to get them out sometime. It doesn't happen.
Oh my goodness. That's so cute.
Those are my favorites.
Awesome.
That's sadly Skittles, but Skittles is an addiction. I don't eat those very often.
Yeah, we have to really put our willpower to the test.
Yes.
With sugars, I know. I'm really bad about it. Usually one time of the month, I'm like, but I want all the sugar.
Yeah, I can go for 6 months without having anything other than natural sugars. And then I'll be like out somewhere and I'll be starving. So I'll grab like Skittles or gummy bears. And then it's like, I have to detox off of them. Because it's awful. The sugar addiction is real.
Yes, for sure. I think it's worse than the doctors say, that it is worse than almost any other drug out there.
And it's legal.
Oh, yes. Well, Sam, thank you so much. Do you have any parting words for our listeners today? Feed real foods to your pets.
Yes, please know where your stuff comes from.
Yes, it is so important.
And if a company won't tell you, then there's a problem.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. And so many of them don't want to tell you.
Right.
So, yeah, that is a big problem for me. So,
I normally don't list every single farm when somebody asks me, but we work with local farms. And when I say local, I mean Midwest now, because we went from our little local central Illinois to we try to stay in the Midwest. So.
Yeah, well, especially if you're visiting, you need to kind of keep it manageable. Well, I'm so glad that it was, able to sustain itself so quickly. I think that's a testament to where we're headed in the pet industry. And I thank you again for everything you're doing. And I appreciate you. Make sure you go to bearsbites.net. And if you are local in the Midwest, then maybe you can find a cute little boutique store to buy them. Otherwise, you can get them directly from Bears Bites. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure that you're following the show so you never miss an episode. And please take a moment to rate the show on your podcast app. I'd also love it if you'd share this podcast with your friends and family so that they can benefit from the information to help their pets live long, happy lives too. Don't forget to take advantage of this special discount as a listener today and get access to over 100 online videos and my online dog training, The Furry Family Coach. Just go to thefurryfamilycoach.com and use code PODCAST at checkout to get your first month for only $7. That's thefurryfamilycoach.com and use code PODCAST at checkout to get your first month for only $7. I can't wait to have you join and see you on the inside.